Good morning. Very warm welcome to Dr. B.V. Raman webinar series. Greetings of Vasanta Panchami. Today we have speakers Shri Rajendran and Shri Ramalingam. They will take up today's technical sessions. Now we will start the session with the prayer.
Namaste. Japa kusuma sankasham kashyapeyam mahadyutim tamoghnam sarvapapagnam pranatosmi divakaram.
Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva, Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Suprabhata hai. Good morning to all. As it is always the prediction about Rahu Ketu and Kala Sarpa Yoga is always an important area for an astrologer. In many of the classicals, only few classicals like the Bharat Parashara or Sastra and Sambhu or Prakashika. These are the two classicals where I found that the mention of the Rahu Ketu has been 10, and in most of the cases they have dealt only the 7 planets. And secondly, the Kala Sarpa Yoga, the reference has not been given in any of the classicals as such. However, on the basis of the placements of the Rahu Ketu in the various houses, because they are always opposite 180 degrees. So later stages, it appears they have developed that concept of Kala Sarpa Yoga. As you all aware that Rahu Ketu is a nodal point in the ecliptic zodiac, and it is also called as the Chaya Gragas. North node is called as the Rahu, and south node is called as the Ketu. As it is, if you go through the references regarding the Rahu Ketu, it starts with the, earlier also it may be there, but it starts with the Samudra Manthan. So there is a story that the Asuras, Devas and Asuras, they wanted to churn the motion this Samudra Manthan for the Amrit. Vasuki, one of the snake, has come as a rope, and they started churning the Samudra mountain, that is Monika. And finally, when the Amrita has come, it was taken over by the Asuras. That time, Devas went complained to Lord Vishnu. Vishnu has taken the form of a Mohini, and in that way, as she went to the Asuras, and as the Asuras attracted by the beauty of that, she able to get the Amrit from the Asuras, and she started distributing to the Devas first. And during that time, sun and moon observed one Asura, Svarbhanu, who has taken the blessings from Brahma to be a planet. So he was also sitting in the line, but Mohini, that Lord Vishnu, has given the Amrut, and subsequently he has severed the head of the Svarbhanu. So from that day onwards, the concept of eclipse has come to be, as the Svarbhanu wants to take a revenge on the sun and moon, who are the causes for their beheading, and eclipses, forming of eclipses has come. But though they have swallowed sun and moon, but have they taken the Amrit and they have come out of it? So the concept of eclipses we are seeing from them, from there onwards. In addition to that, there is a also one story that in zodiac was taken over by the various planets, and there is no place for Rahu Ketu as such. Then they requested the planets to give a place in zodiac, and all planets are accepted except Saturn. So from this, it was considered that Saturn is the only planet which can check Rahu Ketu. That is what the concept goes. And again, if you go through the Ramayana, we can see that wherever that reference of Mata Sita comes, they say that Mata Sita has been eclipsed like Rahu Ketu. The sun moon has been eclipsed by Rahu Ketu. So therefrom we are understanding that the concept of Rahu Ketu has already been in before Ramayana, and as well as during the period before the classical authors, because if you go through the classicals, we are finding very limited reference regarding the Rahu Ketu. However, with the limited resources and the various references of the classical books like Vedparasha Ravar Sastra and Sambhu Prakasha and Brihad Jataka and other books, in specifically the help taken from the Astrological magazine, by all the whatever I am putting before you is a collection of various matters with a curiosity to know about Rahu Ketu, about this significations of the Rahu Ketu has been given in the Uttara Kalamrita, which may be of very lengthy, so I will not be reading all the classifications, which can be read from the Uttara Kalamrita. It has given lot of significations regarding Rahu Ketu, but that by the observations, what has been observed by me, and by going through the various books of reference, and also with the experience of the charts which I have seen, I have found out some of the points which is connected to the results with the results of Rahu with the other planets. So generally, as everybody knows, that Rahu rules Rajendra, Swati, and Satabhisha nakshatras. Lords of Mercury, the nakshatra lords are Mercury, Venus, and Saturn. Ketu rules Aswini, Magha, Mula. Lords of the nakshatras are Mars, Sun, Jupiter. If you see that there is a connection between the relationship that the friends of the planets are together with Rahu and also the Ketu. And coming to the friends, Mercury, Venus, Saturn are the friends for Rahu, and Sun, Moon, Mars is enemy, and Jupiter is neutral. For Ketu, Venus, Saturn are enemies and the friends, and friends are Sun, Moon, Mars, and Mercury and Jupiter are considered as the neutral. So when the planet Rahu is with the Sun, when the planet is a Sun, it is positive. It gives positive results, and when it is in Moon, it carry forward from the past life, that the memories of the past lives. And generally, they are going with that is interested in union with the opposite sex, and they are interested in love and a strong attraction towards them. So ambition, when Rahu is with moves, generally they have that ambition of acquiring something, and Rahu and Mercury stimulates the intellectual pursuits and growth, and appreciate others' talent. Jupiter develop spiritual pursuits and generosity and tolerance towards the people, and Rahu Venus gives sincerity in affection and not hurting the other feelings. And Saturn, sense of duty, mostly the Rahu Saturn people are disciplined, and they give more hard work to achieve their targets. In the same way, Ketu, when it joins with the Sun, Ketu being a karmic planet, Chaya, so it increases the interest in the karmic areas, and the relationship with the people will be very lasting, and they are easily attracted to others. And moon, that is Ketu with the moon, it becomes emotional and sometimes is more demanding. Mars, powerful, that is Ketu with the Mars, it's a powerful combination, and sometimes there is a hesitation, there is a restriction in the personal desires and patience, but energy level is good. And Ketu with the Mercury, again serious thinking, they are the serious thinking religion, and knowledge is more, and their relationship are not permanent. They will keep a relation, and subsequently there is a chance of getting. And it is a good combination for teaching. And Ketu, Jupiter, overflowing of energy and no inspiration. And Venus initially may feel responsible in love, but later on they will uh, separate. And Ketu, Saturn, is a restrictive planet, Saturn being a restriction planet, and there is a restrainment is there, but it sometimes it may lead to mood of depression and also for separation. Generally, Rahu, there is a feeling that various views on the ownership of the house, exaltation, debilation. As it is, there is no house given for Rahu Ketu, but authors offer a various view that Parashara is giving a ownership of Rahu to Aquarius, exaltation Taurus, and Mula Trikona Cancer. And just opposite the Ketu's position, that is 180 degrees opposite the Ketu position comes. Jataka Parisata gives one house for Virgo and exaltation Gemini, and Mula Trikona house Aquarius. Uttrakala Martha gives Aquarius as the one house and Taurus exaltation and Aquarius debilitation. And Gopala Ratnakara, it gives one house Virgo and exaltation Gemini. But Gemini Muni, that is Sage Sarasara, who was given, Sage Muni, who was given Gemini system, he gave Ketu to Scorpio and Rahu to Aquarius, maybe coinciding with the Shanivar Ketu, Shanivar Rahu and Kujavat Ketu. And generally, the results of Rahu Ketu are, it is associating the results of the planets, that is planets which are associated with Rahu Ketu, or planets having the aspect or conjoining with them, that is yat yat bhavo gato vapi yat yat bhaveshu samyuto tat tat palani prabalo pradishtam tamo graho. That is, it gives the effects of the planets which is associated. And some of the results which I have observed, and by referring the other books I have given, which are of some importance, that is association with the malefic planet give bad effects during its dasa, and Antardasha and Pratyadasha. However, in practice, Rahu Ketu association or aspect data spoil the yogas in the natal chart. But effect of Rahu Ketu creates some unpleasant incidents, which is shown in the example charts. Rahu makes the native an important official who loves pleasure, generally irritable and angry, skill in foreign languages, heroic, diplomatic, devoted to Shakti. Signifies tobacco, bones, weapons, etc. And Ketu, and also Rahu is of a peculiar nature, suffer from inferiority complex, fear of being neglected by near and dear, and it is complex psyche, melancholy, and depression. When it comes to there's Rahu, when it is with Jupiter and Mercury, it is considered as very powerful. It lifts the person of the individuals to the high status, which we'll be seeing when we are seeing the example charts. So it is very powerful, and it is considered as give you a very courage to the individual sometimes, but Uttara Kalamita refers it as gives a favorable result in 4, 7, 10 houses, and Ketu gives good results in the third house. When come to the Ketu, Ketu governs forest, islands, hill. Ketu governs forest, islands, hill, tribes, sculpture, and stonework, artificial, northwestern region, and generally Ketu is a karmic spiritual planet. Jataka Praga speaks of, gives a bad results for the Ketu, but in general, if you see only in the major period of Ketu, the benefic results are divided. When it is with the benefic and when it is with the malefic, it gives the bad results. And Uttarakulam also finds that the Ketu is good in 3, 10, and 9th houses, trine and square. And when it is in lots of the 8th and 12th, it gives bad results. Ketu is Ketu has been referenced in Mukha Panchasati also, which is says that is the mother goddess since he brings moksha. And in the preparatory rites for Ketu, the sacred grass darba has been prescribed. Mantraswara gives that Ketu is a Kulashanita, that is, it will improve the status of the family. Then, when some of the facts about Rahu Ketu, that is, Rahu Ketu are moonlets and are not always evil. Rahu is diplomat and Ketu is seer. Notes eclipse sun and moon. When they are with malefic conjunctions, Rahu in first house and Ketu in second house gives a good result. And otherwise, the Lord of that is Ketu in first house and Rahu in second house gives a good result. That is reverse of that. Lord of Rahu sign is a karmic distribution planet, and Ketu is a karmic retribution planet. Basically, these are all karmic planets. Rahu, Ketu are karmic planets, and the disputers will be giving the clue for a person's growth. Rahu Ketu essentially is a punitive planet. Suppose if you have done some wrong in the last karma, that you will be, and if you have done the good things, you will be enjoying that. And normally it is good with Mercury. Rahu Ketu are good with Mercury, and 5-9 when they are placed in 5-9, sometimes it was good and sometimes it is bad. Rahu is a maternal grandfather and Ketu is a maternal grandmother. But generally it is told that this Rahu Ketu gives the results what is the desire of the grandfather, and it executes to the grandson. And this I have seen in that nodal points are coinciding with the grandson and the grandfather's charts, which I could able to link it to the Dr. V E Raman sir and Surya Narayan, so his grandfather. So special characters are that Rahu Ketu within 2 degrees is not advisable. That is not good. And generally, Aquarius placement of Rahu in Aquarius is considered as bad. But what I observed this, most of the whenever the planets are that's Rahu is placed in Aquarius, it is I found that it is good. So now let us see go with some of the this example charts, how the results are given by the Rahu Ketu. This is a chart of actor Dharmendra, and I will not be going in detail, but only I am giving how this Rahu Ketu in fact really helps the person to grow in his life. Rahu in second house and should give the second and fifth house results. That ascendant is Scorpio Lagna, that is Jupiter's result it has to give. And Ketu in Gemini should give effect of Mercury, that is 8th and 11th house after. But Jupiter is in 10th and 10th and with 10th and 11th Lord in Lagna having Martian influence. So many people knows that Dharmendra actor Dharmendra has a very good leading effect, and he has his pictures like Pattar, pool or Pattar, and Chupke Chupke all had a very good hit, and he started with a Martian influence of an action thriller, action play actor, and subsequently he has become the romantic actor. That is association of the Rahu with the planets or the dispositors effect, because here Rahu is in second house and having the dispositor Jupiter, and Jupiter is associated with other planets, and in the Lagna Scorpio, it has a Martian effect. Coming to the second, then it is a chart of Rajesh Khanna. Here he is also the Gemini Lagna and Moon in Leo. Rahu in third in Leo and Ketu in Aquarius. It will give the effects of the third house and ninth house. As per the statement, Rahu will act as Sun and Ketu as Saturn. In addition, it will have the influence of associated planet. Here it is Moon. Influence of Ketu on Jupiter and Venus lead to separation. Entered film field during Rahu Dasa Saturn Bhukti in 1969. And Moon, Sun, and Saturn has to influence Rahu and Ketu mutual aspect between Saturn. In March, he has won 3 Filmfare Awards and nominated for 14 times. So Sun as third lord is with Mercury, and aspecting Rahu is aspecting this planet. So hence it has lifted the native. And coming to the other example, actress Nutan, most popular actresses of the Bollywood in those days, and she is Rahu in fourth and Ketu in 10th, reflecting Jupiterian and Lagna Lord in 10th. Newton nominated the film industry in 1950 during Ketu Mahadasa and 1961 to 1968. She was considered as the thinking actress. Sudden, no need to tell anybody, and she will automatically react to the situation. So because Ketu is in 10th and being in the Gemini, Mercury is intellectual, and she is that is associated with Rahu Ketu, or the placement of the Rahu Ketu or the aspecting planets. That influence it Rahu Ketu takes over, and so sometimes it gives sudden this results. One example I am giving negative results. Many people know that Sushant Singh Rajput was reported as suddenly has taken the suicide. He has become famous during the period of that is biography of Indian cricket MS Dhoni's picture. From there onwards, he has been very famous in Bollywood. He died during Rahu Moon period. Rahu in you can observe that Rahu is in 6th and Ketu in 12th, with Mars resulting sudden death by suicide. Saturn in Lagna, being the disposer of Mars, Mars in 12th house, gave a sudden death, and Ketu is with Mars. Again, Ketu is taking over the place of Mars and giving the effect of the Mars sudden death. Many of the people perplexed how that individual has gone to the suicide level. Then coming to the point of Kala Sarpa Yoga, as already explained, that the Kala Sarpa Yoga is not given in the anywhere in the classical text, but later on, as like we can see in Paurnami and Amavasya, the effects of Rahu Ketu are happening in the that effects and see in the sea and other places, and those who are in the mental resilience, you can see the effects of Rahu Ketu. In the same way, by observing those things, the effects of the Kala Sarpa Yoga has also been deduced like that. This is my assertion, but the reason may be some other. But what exactly the Kala Sarpa Yoga? Agre Rahur Atur Ketu Sarve Madhya Gata Graha Yogayam Kala Sarpakyam Nirupasasya Vinasanam. That is, this is given in the Jyotish Niva Navanita. That is, no planets in should be with Rahu Ketu. And Rahu must be ahead of the Lagna and Ketu should be behind it. That is, that gives the Kala Sarpa Yoga. When if it is with the benefic planets, it is considered that it is the Kala Sarpa Yoga is not effective. And effect of this loga is lifelong. And bad effects faced in the first half of the life, in the which I have already told, and half of the brighter, half of the life is brighter side. The effect of the Rahu will be during the Dasa Bhukti of Rahu Ketu. That is Kala Sarpa Yoga effect will be generally during the Rahu Ketu. And Raja Yogas in the chart get cancelled because of Kala Sarpa Yoga. This is what most of the people says that. But what I observed, it is not like that. In experience, both yogas have its impacts. It is as like all other malefic and benefic planets in the chart give its effects during this dasa, basing upon their past karmas. In the same way, Rahu Ketu also give the effect, and Kala Sarpa Yoga, which is formation by the Rahu Ketu, because always it is in 180 degrees. And for each placement of the Kala Sarpa Yoga, it has been given various names. But that before dealing that, I have gone through, I have come across one of the views of the, this is Kerala author, Mr. K.K. Kurup. He has divided Rahu and Ketu in two different, that is good Anuloma and bad Iloma, depending upon the placement of the Rahu Ketu in the chart. That is, when the planets are moving towards the Rahu, he has given it as Anuloma, and when the planets are going away from the Rahu, he has given it as a Viloma. That is, and the placement, how it is means, that is first house to seventh house, when the planets are in the first house, that is Rahu is in the first house, and in seventh house Ketu is there. The planets are moving towards Ketu, Rahu is ahead. In the same way, when the Rahu is in seventh and Ketu is in 12th, planets are moving towards the Ketu, and as the planets are always Rahu Ketu are retrogrades, and planets are going away from the Rahu. So like this, he has given two different there is meaning for this, saying that some Anuloma type gives a good effect and Viloma type gives a bad effect. That is what he has done. And the names of the 12 Kala Sarpa Yogas are basing upon the planets in Lagna to 12th house. That is, Lagna to 7th house is Ananta Kala Sarpa Yoga, and 2nd to 8th is Ulika Kala Sarpa Yoga, and 3 to 9 is Vasiki Kala Sarpa Yoga, and 4 to 10 is Shankapal Kala Sarpa Yoga, and 5 to 11 is Padma Kala Sarpa Yoga, and 6 to 12 is Maha Padma Kala Sarpa Yoga, and 7 to Lagna. There is 7 to Lagna house in turn, that is 7th house is Rahu, and in Lagna is Ketu, that is Saksha Kala Sarpa Yoga, and 8 to 12 second house is Karkataka Kala Sarpa Yoga, and 9 to 3rd house is Shanka Kala Nada Sarpa Yoga, and 10 to 4 it is Pataka Kala Sarpa Yoga, and 11 to 5 house is Vishaka Kala Sarpa Yoga, and 12 to 6 house is Sheshanaga Kala Sarpa Yoga. Generally, it is found that the effects of the Kala Sarpa Yoga is generally given as bad. But when this is what the difference, that is the Viloma and Anuloma. What are all the Viloma houses? Viloma Kala Sarpa Yoga and the Anuloma Kala Sarpa Yoga. That is basing upon the houses from Lagna to 7th house and 6th to 12th house. This is the planet position that is called as Viloma, which is not a good Kala Sarpa Yoga, because all the planets are going towards the Rahu, and the planets are entering through the mouth of the Rahu. And Anulama is from 7th to Lagna and 12th to 6 houses. That is the reverse of the Rahu Ketu. This is called Anulama Kala Sarpa Yoga, which is considered as the Good. And basing upon the signs also, the names have been given in a different in some other books which I have referred. I found it, which is just opposite to the placement of those. This is given in the basing on the signs, that is Aries. If it is in first house Aries to Taurus, it is called as Vasuki, and Taurus to the Scorpio, that is Kasarniya, and Gemini to Sagittarius, it is called as Takshaka. Like that, the names have been given in a different version what has been given for the first house and the seventh house. That is normally the planets as the Rahu Ketu are 180 degrees apart. So this is one information which I have collected. And general effects of Kala Sarpa Yoga is generally it creates a fear and insecurity, mental unrest, financial hurdles and chronic ailments, problems in progeny, sudden fall in wealth and reputation. There is a mismatch in opportunities and your age, always feeling dependent, hardly meeting the expectations. Your children do not respect you. You have problems in your relationship, discontent in most areas of life, career is unstable, and you are unable to cope in society, fear of heights, and some diseases. But actually, if you go through the practicalities, this is the practical of each of the Kala Sarpa Yoga by the name and their results given, and that what is actually happening is different. Though the Kala Sarpa Yoga, the effects are given as bad in most of the books, but in practice, you can see whoever is having the Kala Sarpa yoga, they are raising in their life, which I will be showing now. But at the same time, whenever that Rahu Dasa or Ketu Mahadasa comes, then only if they are getting a sudden change in their life, either it may be for a better period or it may be for a bad. But always I have observed in most of the charts, people who are having Kala Sarpa Yoga, they have a very good reputed life, which we can see by example. Now that I will see what is the results of Ananta Kala Sarpa Yoga. If it is in Lagna to there is a seventh house, it is emotional, life of struggle, prone to disease of mouth and brain. Kulika Kala Sarpa Yoga, that is from second to eighth house, trouble in domestic, financial, sportive. Example P.V. Narasimha Rao and late Prime Minister of India. Vasiki Kala Sarpa Yoga, third and ninth house, hard-working, disciplined and sympathetic, helped by outsiders. Shankakal Kala Sarpa Yoga, that is 4 and 10th house, helpful but not, that is, they will not be appreciated. Example, Harshad Mehta, who is involved in a scam and finally he had a bad name. Padma Kala Sarpa Yoga, 5th and 11th house, intelligent, affectionate, hardworking and good advisors for others. Mahapadma Kala Sarpa Yoga, 6th and 12th house, ambitious, busy, problems due to psychological, harmed by others, and valiant and successful. Takshakala Sarpa Yoga, 7th, that is reverse of Rahu and Ketu, that is Rahu in 7th and Ketu in Lagna. Takshakala Sarpa Yoga, struggling for self-respect, capable of reaching great heights, instinctive by spirit. Karkataka Kala Sarpa Yoga, that is 8th and 12th, second house, financial ups and downs, quick and sudden events in their life. And Shankanada Kala Sarpa Yoga, unhappy family life, trouble from wife and children. Vataka Kala Sarpa Yoga, 10th and 4th house, excessive interference of family members, own behavior go against self. Vishaka Kala Sarpa Yoga, 11th and 5th house, suffer due to simplicity, generosity, and sentimentality. Seshanaga Kala Sarpa Yoga, 12 and 6, victims of black magic, partnership, not advisable for them, and it gives bad results. They are fit for employment and political activities. However, sometimes they are involved in the they are being in imprisoned, maybe for good or bad things. Now we will go for example charts. This is the example regarding Lagna to 7th house. This is Untitled Kala Sarpa Yoga. What I have observed, mostly the bad effects has been given in the references. But what I have observed in practice, which I have already told, that see, it is a chart of a sorry, it is a chart of Junior Martin Luther. If you see his life, it is a life of struggle. But he is a winner of Peace Prize in 1964, and that is during the Mercury, Rahu, Saturn. Mercury and Saturn, 4th and 5th Lord, creating a strong Raja Yoga in 9th house. This is the one supportive statement for that. Rahu Ketu combination or the Kala Sarpa Yoga doesn't spoil the Raja Yogas in the chart. And another thing, Kala Sarpa Yoga, though it gives some of the bad explanations has been given in books, but in practice, they are achieving a very good placement in their life. Then coming to the 8th house and 2nd house placement, which is Karkataka Kala Sarpa Yoga. It gives normally ailments, throat ailments, and up and downs in the life. This is a chart of the Rajendra. Most of the people may be knowing about this. Is Lagna is Leo, and the 2nd house is Rahu Ketu, 2nd and 8th Rahu Ketu, where Saturn is placed. And Rahu Ketu is Rahu is aspecting the Saturn, and Sun, that Lagna Lord is in Mars, that is Scorpio. The Lord of the Scorpio is Mars, and which in turn is connected to, aspected by the Rahu, and it has given the lot of ups and downs in his life. Coming to the next Vasuki Kala Sarpa Yoga, which is having a 3rd and 9th house combination. Benjamin Franklin was the one of the example. Another is Alladi Krishna Swami. Then third one more example I will be giving regarding this. That is Benjamin Disraeli. He is the 2 times Prime Minister. Lagna is Scorpio and Rahu in 3rd and Ketu. He has a Gajagesari Yoga, Jupiter in 4th from Moon. That is to say that Kala Sarpa Yoga doesn't stop the yogas in the chart. But as I have already told that whenever the Dasha comes, they have some difficulties in their life. And 7th Lord Venus and 5th Lord Jupiter in conjunction, and benefic Moon in 2nd house, and Venus and Jupiter in 5th from Atma Karaka Mars. It is having the Raja Sambandha Yoga. Amatya Karaka Saturn is in 11th. Is during the 1932 and 1832 and 35 is not a good period for him, but subsequently he has become the, he could able to enter the parliament and become the Prime Minister of United Kingdom, and he was confirmed the title of Lord Beanfield title during 1876. So coming to the Shankanada Kala Sarpa Yoga, this is the 9th and 3rd house. Earlier I was talking about 3rd and 9th house. It is 9th and 3rd house. Generally it gives unhappy family life. But again, if you take the actual, they are professionally they are strong. This is the case of Ashok Kumar, actor in India. During this is a Leo Lagna and Moon in Taurus, Rahu with Saturn and Ketu with Jupiter. During the Jupiter-Saturn period, he has entered the, he has been in the film career, and it has lifted his career to a huge heights. And everybody knows about his familiarity in the film field. Coming to Shankakala Sarpa Yoga, 4th and 10th house, but generally it is considered not helpful. but there are some examples. KPS Menon, and who is the erstwhile Indian Civil Service officer, and one example of 10th and 4th houses. Earlier we have talked in that 4th and 10th house. Now it is the 10th and 4th house. Ketu Kala Sarpa Yoga. Generally, own behavior going against self, that everybody knows about Donald Trump, who was the ex-president of America. His Lagna is Leo, and Jupiter is in second house. During 19, that is during his period, that is when 45th President of Nature during 2017 and 2021, during the Jupiter and Saturn period. When we see the placement of the planets, Jupiter in second house, and Jupiter is aspected by the Rahu. Rahu is with the Sun, and Jupiter is also aspected by the Saturn, which led to the presidentship during Jupiter and Saturn period. So these are the various examples. And again, the last one is the 12th and 6th house, which is the case of Mukesh Ambani, Jawaharlal Nehru, who is the ex-Prime Minister of India. And everybody knows that Jawaharlal Nehru, during his freedom struggle, he has been in the jails for a long period. But though he has gone a lot of imprisonments, but ultimately he could able to reach the seat of Prime Minister. That is the conclusion which I want to come out is, we did not we did not fear about the Rahu Ketu reactions or the Kala Sarpa Yoga, because it's basically a karmic distribution and retribution planets. And generally it is believed that it weakens the chart of the native and spoils the yogas, but not in reality. And then the examples are Sachin Tendulkar, Rajinikanth, George W. Bush, Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela. All these are having the Kala Sarpa yogas, but they are successful in their life, though there is a life of struggle. And the people who were born during the period may not get benefits, especially when it is during Rahu or Ketu. That's all. Thank you for giving a opportunity.